Tehran has quietly funneled almost $3 billion worth of missiles to Russia, pressing ahead with covert arms sales even as Washington repeatedly warned Iran against fueling Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine and threatened tougher sanctions. Fresh Western intelligence, reported by Bloomberg, shows Iran has entered multi-billion-dollar missile arrangements with Moscow, exposing the scale of a hidden arms pipeline that has become central to sustaining Russia's long war effort. A Western security official says contracts signed with Russia add up to about $2.7 billion in missiles, underscoring how Iran has turned into one of the Kremlin's most important external suppliers of high-end strike capabilities. These missile deals began in October 2021, months before Russia's full-scale invasion, meaning Tehran was already locking in lucrative weapons contracts with Moscow as tensions built, but before the world saw open war in Ukraine. According to the official cited by Bloomberg, the packages cover hundreds of short-range ballistic missiles plus roughly 200 surface-to-air missiles, giving Russia both powerful offensive strike options and extra air defense firepower for the battlefield. Iran supplied Russia with hundreds of FATH-360 short-range ballistic missiles. It also sent about 500 other short-range ballistic missiles. Around 200 surface-to-air missiles were delivered to strengthen air defense. Millions of ammunition rounds were shipped to sustain Russian forces. Artillery shells were provided in large quantities for ongoing bombardments. Shahed 136 kamikaze drones were supplied for long-range strikes. Iranian technology enabled Russia to produce Geran-2 drones domestically. A $1.75 billion deal in 2023 covered drones and related technology. In total, Russia has spent over $4 billion on Iranian weapons. These weapons deals have been active since late 2021. Russia and Iran have drawn significantly closer since Vladimir Putin launched his full-scale invasion of Ukraine, transforming a pragmatic relationship into a tighter wartime alignment grounded in shared hostility to the West and mutual sanctions pressure. As sweeping Western sanctions hit both Moscow and Tehran, their partnership has deepened into a critical lifeline, with each side using the other to bypass restrictions, trade sanctioned goods, and secure vital military and economic support. The missile transfers form just one pillar of a broader set of arms agreements, which include drones, air defense systems, and technology transfers that lock Russia and Iran into a long-term military-industrial partnership. Since February 2022, Iran has shipped Russia huge stocks of artillery shells and millions of rounds of ammunition, providing crucial supplies to sustain Russian offensives when its own stockpiles and production struggle to keep pace with battlefield demands. Western security assessments estimate that since late 2021 Moscow has spent more than $4 billion on Iranian weapons, including roughly $2.7 billion worth of ballistic and air defense missiles contracted to support the war in Ukraine. During the 2010s, as sanctions and diplomatic pressure mounted over its nuclear program, Tehran increasingly leaned on Moscow for diplomatic cover, arms cooperation, and energy coordination to soften the impact of international isolation. In January 2025, Iran and Russia signed a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty that pledged closer cooperation in economic, political, and security fields, but notably stopped short of a formal mutual defense pact binding either side to fight for the other. When Israel and the United States carried out strikes on Iran in 2025, Moscow refrained from direct military assistance, highlighting the limits of the relationship and Russia's desire to avoid open confrontation with Washington and its regional partners. Russia is working with Iran on the International North-South Transport Corridor, a trade route linking Russia, Iran, and India that aims to move goods faster than traditional sea routes and reduce the bite of Western sanctions on all three economies. Officials in Moscow and Tehran also pursuing deeper banking and financial ties, from alternative payment systems to local currency settlements, to shield bilateral trade and arms deals from dollar-based sanctions and Western financial pressure.